Hello and welcome back. I'm Pia and today we are building sort of a Welsh cottage. I wanted to build something, well, in time for autumn. That didn't pan out the way I thought it would. So I decided to take inspiration from my latest vacation, which was to Wales, to the northwest of Wales, Snowdonia, and the Snowdonia National Park. They all had these very cute stone slate houses, which I just adore, and they just gave me a very cozy feeling, sort of reminiscent of my childhood when I used to be in England. Well, I didn't go to England all the time, but when we were there visiting family, friends, everything was always so cozy and warm and full of florals and a lot of floral patterns and a lot of carpet in areas where you'd think, why did you put carpet in the dining room? But yeah, it kind of reminded me of that, and I wanted to recreate that, and I hope I managed. You'll be the judge of that, but I quite like it. The house ends up having 3 bedrooms. It has a main bedroom, like a master bedroom with an ensuite. It has a toddler room and a bedroom for twins or 2 children. It also has a kitchen, a living room, a dining room, and a bar area, because when I set out to build this house, I had a plan. But when time came around to furnish it, a week or so had passed, and I didn't know my plan anymore. So I just put a bar in, because I never put a bar in. Do you put a bar into your Sims house? Because, I don't know, they're always so big, and they always feel out of place, like they don't belong. And some of them are so stylized that they just don't fit in houses very well. So when I want my Sims to have a bar, I usually give them this little globe thing, because I like that one, and it can go into a study very well, and it's not that big or intrusive to the eye. But other than that, I barely ever build bars. You can integrate them quite nicely into kitchens, but again, I never do, because part of the reason is also because if your Sims have visitors, all they do is make white cake and mix drinks, and then you have white cake that is off and glasses sitting everywhere in your house and on top of half walls, and it's just a pain. And the Sims are constantly uncomfortable because they're in a dirty environment, and I'm yeah. So there's also a reason why I tend to not have bars in my houses. But it worked out well with this one, and I quite like the look of it, because while it is sort of minimalist, at least the bar area, it still feels cozy and warm and familiar and homely. Let's see if I can think of any more synonyms. Yeah, I really liked building the house, and I restricted myself with only having a couple of packs. I did not write down which packs I used, so in the later part of the videos, I think when it comes to especially when it comes to decorating, I also use seasons. I don't think I started out with seasons, but here we are. I used base game, cats and dogs, seasons, Snowy Escape, Country Living, Country Kitchen, the kit, and Horse Ranch. Because I thought all of those kind of encapsulate the spirit I want to capture quite well. And they also work together quite well. Even like the wood tones were fine with each other, because we know that's an issue in Sims. But it worked nicely, to the degree where I was quite satisfied with it. And yeah, I do like restricting myself in this way when I build, because it gives you different ways of looking at the objects, and suddenly it's like, oh, this is actually a nice object, I should use it more. Well, most of the time I don't end up using it then, but you kind of figure out new combinations, and like sometimes I even discover whole new swatches of items that I could swear I've never seen before in my life, even though I have, because I've seen all the swatches. But yeah, so I liked restricting myself with that part of the build. It was tricky to build the bathrooms. Like, I struggled with the bathrooms. I always struggle with bathrooms because I tend to build the same like 3x4 bathroom setup. Always the same. You have a door in the middle, and then like bathroom and sink on one side, or toilet and sink on one side, and a bathtub and a shower on the other side. And I don't know, I kind of want to build different bathrooms, so I experimented a little bit with this one, see if I could make something that's a bit more interesting. I'm not sure if I succeeded. I struggled a little bit because I had this idea that I wanted to have a half wall in the bathroom. And I did in the end, I do, but yeah, it was kind of a bit of a struggle until I got to that point, but it's fine. And I don't usually like use the tiles I used in the bathrooms, but they seemed to fit this house quite nicely. Yeah, it's really kind of fascinating to me how well certain packs work together, because I think that like Country Living and Cats and Dogs works really well together, not just from the aesthetic, but also from the colors they use. Though I think that Cats and Dogs has a very different blue, but it still works. And I sort of ended up using a lot of blue in this house, which I don't normally do, but it seemed to work. The like guest house where I stayed at wasn't all that blue, but it seemed, I don't know, it seemed cozy but warm, but also not too stylized, because sometimes Sims has this issue that things are just way too stylized and you can only use them in certain contexts without them being weird. But yeah, I ended up really liking this house. I ended up being quite annoyed at the toddler bedroom because I'm very bad at building toddler bedrooms. That's just me. And I ended up being really annoyed at the game sometimes, because as soon as you like pick an object to copy it, more or less, you know, the little like I forgot the word for it, the little pick thing, you lose all your filters, and I find that so annoying. So I always had to I go back and look for the object I was using, and sometimes I didn't find it, and yeah, that kind of annoyed me. I wish that would work differently, but yeah. I actually haven't playtested the house yet. We are going into the house in like in actual real time about 21 minutes into the video, and then I will have tried it and I'll show you around the house a bit more in a bit more detail, because also when I recorded, I think, the second part of decorating, my camera cut out and didn't work and didn't record, which is fine. That was only about like half an hour of real life build time, so like, I don't know, 5 minutes in the video, so it's fine. But that means that you don't actually get to see the entire build process. Most of it, definitely. It was just, you know, putting knickknacks here and there and all the clutter items, all the little things. And I don't remember if I took the filters off for clutter, because there's some really good clutter. We've got great clutter in the game now. But not necessarily with the older like DLCs. I think that cats and dogs, apart from like the golden cat and dog statue and the little like cat and dog plant we get, they are great. But they also have some strange clutter object choices in there. Though, to be fair, I think Cats and Dogs has some of my favorite paintings, which I use in almost all of my buildings. Whether I film them or I just play by myself. So they're actually quite good. But yeah. Biggest struggle for me always is curtains. Because curtains are just, I don't like that they clip so much. And I try to use curtains to separate the beds in the like twin bedroom. As I said, I haven't playtested it yet, so I'm hoping it works, fingers crossed. Because with some things, I'm not too fussed whether or not it works. Like if you build a nice reading nook, it's fine if it doesn't work, because the Sims can get books from basically everywhere. I always have more than one bookshelf in a house. Same with like wardrobes. I'm not too fussed if my sim can't access a wardrobe, because they can just get changed in the mirror. So yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I tend to forget to put wardrobes into kids' bedrooms, just because you don't need them as objects. So I kind of forget that they exist sometimes. But I did put them in. I'm not sure. I put in some of the lockers that came with, I think, Snowy Escape. I think I put those lockers in. I don't quite remember. And I'm not sure if they actually work as wardrobes, because they weren't in the wardrobe section. They were in the like miscellaneous rest of them. Like surfaces, I think. Either surfaces or storage. But yeah, as I said, they look nice, and I don't necessarily care if they function, because they have other means. I always struggle a little bit with kids' rooms and toddler rooms, because I want them to feel not manicured, but the sim still needs to be able to actually walk around, because unlike humans, they can't step on toys. And it's the most annoying thing when there's like a little tiny thing in the way, and you're just, yeah, the sim just can't go to bed because there's something in the way. And I'm like, please just step over it. So that's why I always struggle with kids' rooms because I feel you can't. Well, you probably can, but I can't. I can't build realistic kids or teen bedrooms in Sims because they don't feel lived in. They feel like a show home. So I always try my best, and we do have a couple of clutter items that sort of like litter the floor. But they aren't in the packs that I chose to build with, so I can use them. It also annoys me that Sims get stuck with these items. Like, I feel like if they are clutter items and I can put them on the floor, the Sims' way shouldn't be obstructed by them. But yeah, that sometimes annoys me. I'm really happy with how the build turned out. I built it in Brindleton Bay. No, I built it in Windenburg on the little island. Because it seemed to fit in there quite well. Just from the aesthetic of the neighborhood, the aesthetic of the entire world, and the aesthetic that I was going for with the house. Well, you can obviously put it wherever you want. It is a 20 by 30 lot, and there's plenty of those in the game. Because I figured it wouldn't fit on a smaller one, like a 20 by 15. And there's not that many square ones, like 30 by 30, I thought it's worth building it on there and designing it for that space, because maybe not as many people have the packs that have 30 by 30 lots. Then again, obviously, if you don't have certain packs or kids or whatever, objects disappear anyway. It happened to me when I downloaded a sim and I didn't check which packs the clothing was from. So like half of the clothes didn't work for me, but that's fine. And I do have a lot of packs, so I was kind of confused by that. But I guess that creator just really liked this one certain pack that I don't have. Because it was also a while ago that happened. I don't have a lot of like the clothing kits because some of them are just not worth it to me, honestly. Even though they're not expensive. Like, let's be real, I'm going to buy them at some point. But not now. Not now. But yeah, we are nearing the last couple of minutes of this build. Love that we have switches now, light switches. Hate that they are not functional, but I still happily put them in everywhere. Sockets would also be nice, so you can plug things in. But again, they wouldn't be functional, and I would be very annoyed if they were functional, and then things wouldn't work because there's not a plug inside. But yeah, I liked how it turned out. I liked how the bar area turned out, even though I never built a bar area. And there's a couple of like really cute and nice things in there. There isn't a lot going on in terms of landscaping, because the lot in the end wasn't that big. It was big enough, it was good to like, yeah, it was a good choice in the end. And I also didn't quite know what to do with landscaping. I'm always at a loss with landscaping because I never quite know what to do with houses and like backyards and gardens and whatnot. Especially with this one where you just have this like, well, I think I prefer it with limited space rather than when you have vast space and you're like, okay, am I just gonna put in a chicken coop because at least that takes up space? Or like have a mini goat and a mini sheep in a little pen. But then that's a conscious choice and not just a house you build and then you kind of have to figure out what to do with the garden. It works when you have children because you can put in slides and you can put in like the little tree house and everything. Also, like on the topic of the little tree house, I love the tree house, it's great, But all the time my Sims just go to sleep there when they have perfectly fine beds upstairs. And when I look for them, I find them sleeping in the treehouse. I'm like, why are you in the treehouse? Please, don't sleep in the treehouse. Because then they get soaked when it's raining and they like walk from the treehouse inside again. And it's just, I don't know why they do it. So I usually delete it after my Sims kids have grown up. Well, they are teens. And just replace it with like a large tree. Because it's annoying me. Same with the bars and the mixing and the white cake that the Sims always like to make. But yeah, anyway, as I said, we're nearing the end, and I am going to show you the inside of the house in a bit more detail, so you can have a proper look around. Not in camera mode, because I can't do that. Like, I struggle with it so much, just from like a hand-eye coordination point of view. But yeah, this is sort of, yeah, this is most of the process of the build. And I really liked it. I really like the little like details and touches, and I do like the outside, even though it's not grand. And here we are in beautiful Brindleton Bay. No, we're not. We're in Windenburg. And this is the finished house. This is the outside. I'm going to give you a bit of a 360. With some ivy. Well, they're like wine leaves, but whatever. Try to make it look organic. Kind of worked, kind of didn't. That's okay. Yeah, this is the house from the outside, and let's take a look inside. So when you come in the front door, you're in the hallway. Have a little mirror there, and a small bathroom, just like a guest toilet. Things to put your coat. If you have a dog, there's a leash. If you have a pet goat, there's a leash. Or a cat. Yeah, on the left side there's a study with bookshelf and a cozy corner to sit and read. I really like this bookshelf. Should use it more often. On the right side we enter the living room, which is very like, brown and blue, like everything in this build for some reason. I built it, that's a reason. But yeah, so this is the cozy nook for you to read your books, or for your Sims to read their books. And if we continue down, we have the, again, very blue and brown dining room with a little like aquarium here. And yeah, this is the dining room and the little bar area. I don't know why you need a bar area in a house, but you have one. You can also like refunction it to be a fitness room or something. But why you'd want to have a fitness room is even more beyond me than a bar. And yeah, just a little cozy space to hang out. And opposite is the kitchen. A couple of clutter items, still enough counter space to actually make food, because I tried it. And this is it. I do like using the tiles this way. It's fun to just make your own checkered pattern. And when we go upstairs and enter the hallway, there's not much there, really not. Couple of pictures, and on our left we have the toddler room, plushies and space to sit for the toddler, and you know, something to change the nappy, changing station, little dinosaurs, Bluffy, everything you need. And one over is the bathroom, which I struggled with so much. And it's very brown, but that's okay. This build is just kind of brown. I don't mind. Yeah, there's a couple of yeah, a couple of robes, bathrobes. This is it basically. And down the hallway we've got the master bedroom with a wardrobe, some towels, place to just sit, put on makeup, brush your hair, whatever. Just a little cozy area or a chair where you put all your clothes. And I really need to use these lamps more. I adore them so much. They are so much fun. Yes, this is the bedroom. And their ensuite, just, you know, plain and simple, with a combined shower and a bathtub. And then we have the last bedroom, which is the kids' bedroom. A little llama, which is not very little, but quite tall. And I'm very glad that I once saw the hack that you can just size down the dollhouse, because it's just so big. And it still works, and it does. So we have a little play area, some place to read, sports, a embroidery kit thing, and this is where the kids can sleep. Yeah, and this is the house. So thank you for accompanying me on this journey. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy the house. You can download it now from the gallery. And yeah, I hope you had a lovely time. I hope you made good choices, and I hope you're doing well. Goodbye.